Welcome to one of my favorite days throughout the entire course. This is day 22, brand personality. So my goals for today are I want to teach you how to reach your ideal customer. I want to teach you the psychology of branding and how you can use it to create avid fans. So I have a warm-up for us today, and it's going to be rapid fire, all right? We're going to do it real quick. I don't want you to think too much about your answers on this, okay? Don't overthink. At home, I want you to actually call it out loud, unless you're watching this secretly at work. Then just whisper it to the computer. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I am going to give you a brand name, okay? And I want you to call out, get your mics ready, the one word you think embodies that brand, okay? And we're going to do 3 per brand. All right, ready? Here's the first word. Disneyland. Fun. Happy, magical.
Innovative.
Family. Perfect. Next one. Facebook. Call it out. Loyalty, connections, people. Pictures. Blue. Yes. Time suck. I love it. Next one. Amazon.
Shopping.
Options, easy, variety.
Customer service.
Customer service.
Convenience.
Prime, convenience. Love it. You. I'm sorry, what was it? Awesome.
Black and white.
Results, black and white.
Playful.
What'd you say?
Products.
Products.
Playful.
Authentic.
Playful, authentic. So notice it took us a second. We were like, you, what? What, you? So today is all about our brand personality, making us understand what we put out into the world. And our brand personality is in a lot of different aspects of our artifacts, from our website to our offerings, to our social media, to your office, to your mission statement, to your logo, to your voice, to your resume, to your brochure, to your business card, to your clothes. Our brand personality comes out in many different areas, and today I want to really get specific on what we're saying with our brand and how we want to reach people with it. I love this quote by Michael Schrage, who's an MIT researcher. Successful innovators don't just ask customers to do something different, they ask them to become something different. So today is really the first day where we're going to start talking in depth about how to set your business apart. And you could be running your own business, you could be working in someone else's business. It's how to set your business brand personality apart from other people. How to think about your work differently than other people. And the way that I think about this is human capital. We're not just talking about financial capital, we're talking about the worth of human capital. And this was a concept that was created by Gary Becker, who's a Nobel Prize-winning economist. And I think his work is absolutely brilliant, and it's going to dictate what we're going to learn for the next 7 days. Businesses must cultivate and invest in their human capital assets as a source of wealth. Our own human capital assets, our intelligence, as well as the people around us, their human capital assets, and what our customers' human capital assets are. So how do we do that? Let me break that down a little bit more. We want to invest in your colleagues and partners, your employees and your customers, and your friends and romantic partners. Our mission is your mission. So, of course, you have a business brand statement. You have a mission statement for your business. But I also want us to add a little caveat that we want our mission to be the same as or relate to our client, customer, or colleague's mission. And this is skill number 24. We learned 33 people skills in this course. And number 24 is invest in human capital. That how can you help someone become what they want to be? That if we tie in our brand to our ideal customer's brand, we both improve together. I want to give a little inspiration before I talk about this. Hopefully I can give you a story that will help understand. So when I was pitching Creative Live, people actually don't know how I got on Creative Live the first time. Creative Live didn't find me. I found Creative Live. I was watching Creative Live and I was like, I would love to teach a workshop on there. But I didn't know anyone who was here. So I read up on Creative Live's mission statement. I read up on their company goals. I watched interviews with Chase Jarvis just to see what do they want as a company. And I put together a pitch deck. It was 10 slides, and it was called How I Want to Help Creative Live Achieve Their Mission. And it was 10 slides of how I thought doing a workshop with them would help them achieve their mission. I sent it to the support@CreativeLive email, right? So I literally sent it to the email for technical difficulties. And I sent it and I waited for a few days. Little did I know that behind the scenes, it was bouncing between people. They were slowly sending it around the office because no one had heard of me. No one knew who I was. I didn't know anyone here. And it finally got to the right person. And he called me and he was like, all right, it's David, he works here. He was like, so tell me about what kind of workshop you want to do. So this is the perspective I want to have with cold pitching, with talking to clients. It's trying to help someone reach their mission, to achieve what they want. So now let's look back at these brands that we mentioned when I first started. Facebook, on their mission statement, they actually have give people the power to share and make the world more open and connected. So this is empowering people to be the connector. Facebook is not the connector. They want you to be the connector. They want to give the power to you and your network. Amazon, make people smarter shoppers. So their mission is actually not, we want to be the best shopping place in the world. Of course, that is a great side effect. They want to make you a smarter shopper, to empower you to find the deals that you want. Disneyland, make people feel magical. I heard magic. Or like a kid again, empowering people to tap into their positive memories. So here's what I want to do. I want to do your ideal customer worksheet. In your workbook, I have a worksheet where we're going to talk about our ideal customer, partner, colleague, or boss. So if you're in business for yourself, I want you to pick who is your ideal customer or client. If you work for someone else or you're thinking about working for someone else, you can shift it to who is your ideal colleague, who is your ideal person to work with, who is your ideal boss. Okay, so either one, you can fit it to what matches you. And so I actually want to go through these with two of our audience members. I'm also going to go through mine. So I want to invite Maggie and Kim if you guys want to come up on stage. I think we have some stools too. Perfect. So, thank you. Mm-hmm. Hello.
Hi.
Thank you. All right. Welcome to the stage. Thank you for being open and honest about this. So what we're going to do is we are going to use Maggie, Kim, and my business as an example to help you guys at home and here in the audience explore how you think about your ideal person. We're going to call them ideal person since I know at home they could be a colleague or a boss or an employee. Here's what I want to answer first. When you think about your business, why don't we give us a brief explanation of your business? I know that you're trying to make an online course, so tell me, what are you creating?
So I am kind of starting with a new brand called Photography Hacker, and I want it to be quick, easy, approachable, friendly, ways to learn how to take photos. So I essentially want to take amateurs up the next level. So most everyone's an amateur, but I get a lot of questions, and I just want to answer those and get them up a little higher.
Fabulous. Okay, tell me a little about your business, brief background.
So I teach meditation mostly to very busy people who are high achievers.
Okay, so they have very specific targets that they're trying to reach. What we're going to do is we're going to go through their perfect client or customer. So Maggie's perfect student and Kim's perfect client. You call them clients or students?
It depends on the context.
Okay, what would you like us to use?
Today we can say student.
Student, that makes it easy for both of us too. So Kim's ideal student. Here's where we start. Here's where I want you to start in your workbooks. First, demographic. What are they like? Male, female, what's their income level? So for me, I like both male and female. Typically, they're in their 20s to 40s. Most of my students fall right in there, and they're usually young professionals. What's the demo of your ideal student?
So for lawyers, it tends to be women.
Okay.
But for tech, it tends to be guys.
Women lawyers and tech men. Yeah. Love it. Age range or no specific age range?
Usually early 30s to early 40s.
Okay. Maggie, who's your ideal student? What's their demo?
I'm not totally sure on the male-female thing,
Sure.
but I would definitely say it's probably going to lie between like age 20 to 40.
Okay.
I do have kind of a funny clientele group that seems to be springing up, which is like new moms. I get a ton
Okay.
of questions from new
That's
moms.
a great demo. So new moms. And why is that? That makes sense. Explain it.
It's something new is coming into their life, their children, and they all go out and buy nicer cameras, and then they don't know how to use them.
Or they're gifted nice cameras, and they're like, I really want to use this to take a picture of my baby, but I don't know how. So I hope that you're doing this for yourself, right? I'm trying to inspire what your demo is. It's going to look a little different. Maybe you don't know the sex, maybe it's age demographic, maybe it's new mom, or young professional, or entrepreneur, whatever that demo is. Okay, next one. Hobbies. What nourishes them? So go back to segment 2. We talked about detoxing. What are the activities that refuel and nourish them? So Maggie, I'm going to start with you. What do they do to recharge? We're getting in the mindset of our ideal person.
That's interesting.
Do you want me to? Here, I'll do mine while you
Okay,
think about
yeah.
it. So for me, my ideal student, they recharge on self-development. Like they love to learn about themselves. They love personality quizzes. They like to read Psychology Today. They like to self-explore. They don't necessarily have to be interpersonal intelligence, but that's how they refuel, is exploratory exercises. So for me, it's self-development. Oh, and they're typically, in my ideal demo, they take very good care of their bodies, their minds, and their soul. Right? They take really nice care of treating their body as well. And their minds. All right, does that help a little bit, Maggie?
Yeah, my first instinct was to say they're very education-oriented. I also think, especially because of the way I want to present the content, I think they're online a lot and like to learn solo and
So
try new
online
things.
and big learners, so growth mindset, which we're going to talk about, so big learners. Kim, how about you? What's their hobbies? What nourishes them?
A lot of sports.
Okay.
So because they're very
Athletes.
competitive and they love to measure their progress. So they're the triathletes and the sports people and CrossFit and even yoga, anything that lets them feel like they're achieving even in their downtime.
Okay, I love it. By the way, as they're talking, are you seeing how we're like getting more of a picture of who it is they're talking about? I'm actually starting to think of people who fit into these categories. The problem is, the reason why I do this exercise is because we often say we want to get new business, we want to get new clients, but we don't actually have an idea of who that person is. So when they come across our doorstep, we're like, oh, is this that person? Doing this exercise helps you hone in on that person and also helps you design your products and your offerings specifically for them. Let's fill their matrix. So, what is their intelligence type or types? This is a hard one. What are their skill sets?
So my people tend to be very high on the analytical side.
Yes.
They're all very driven thinkers and they're, curious, but they tend to lean in the analytical side.
Yep, I hear ya.
I would imagine mine are in that realm too.
Same?
Actually, yeah.
Perfect. Do you think that yours are also a little bit visual?
Yes.
Right? Because if she has people who either bought themselves a camera or they're seeing that there could be potential beautiful photos, maybe that's the motivation for them to want to up their amateur status. So can I add visual?
I also think interpersonal, because they're very, just like the mom area, it's very like people-oriented and family and connection.
Love it. Mine, typically very analytical. I have people who are high interpersonal skills and just want to level up on the interpersonal skills, right? That happens a lot. So analytical and interpersonal. I also have a lot of intrapersonal because they're people who love self-development. What is their big 5 factors? And they don't have to pick for all of these, but in general, do you have someone who's really high conscientious or really low extrovert? Maggie, you want to go first?
I would imagine that some of mine would be very open, maybe not necessarily a high extrovert though. Yeah.
Anything else that strikes you, but really high open. They're learners, they want adventure. Are they detail oriented? Is that something that you think of when you think of your ideal student?
I don't think they would be, but I think they're trying for that. Like they're gonna, because I think if they gotten to the point where they're like, I just need a video to try to learn it, like they probably aren't the type to.
Yeah, so we're gonna put equal on everything else because it's actually that it doesn't affect you're open to all sides of the spectrum. How about you? What do you think about for their big 5?
They're definitely in that open curiosity experiential place, but they're also very I want to say they're very perfectionist, kind of rule-driven. So they have less of the flexibility because they like things to be correct.
So possibly high neuroticism, high conscientiousness, which is very important when she's designing her product, her offering, and her communication style with them, right? If you know you have students, you want them to be high achievers. You want them to be detail-oriented because they typically are. You can design your products and your website around that kind of learner, someone who would be like, look at all the steps in her program.
They get excited about steps.
I bet they get excited about steps. So that is a great benefit, right? That in itself, right? If you're like Lee and I, where we love lists, oh my goodness, we love lists. A benefit to me is that you're going to give me a list and I'm going to be able to achieve the whole thing.
Yeah.
Right, that's a super benefit to me. I don't even know what you're selling, but I love doing it. Right, it makes me feel like I'm an achiever. Okay, so for me, I typically have low extroverts, typically, and I love to help bring them out of their shell. I love it. I love to see people come to life and show their inner awesome. Value language. What do they value? What motivates them? This is a really hard one. So for me, I love when people value relationships and new experiences because these courses, as I mentioned, it's an adventure, right? I'm taking you out of your comfort zone. So when people value both the relationships in their life, even if they want to improve them, and trying something new, I know we have a sweet spot. So for me, it's experience and relationship. Maggie, what do you think on value languages?
Definitely experience, exploration, learning new things, trying new things.
Experience. I wonder also if it's control or perfection. And I don't know this.
Oh, that's interesting.
But I would think, new moms who are trying to capture every moment, right? I would think that maybe they're going to be the ones who are going to be awesome students for you because they're going to follow all your lessons. They're going to try to improve things. Can I make that suggestion? Yeah. Okay. Have you thought about what maybe a value language? Yeah.
For sure, experience and control and also knowledge.
Okay, yes. Perfect. They want to know more. They want to get to know themselves more. They want to level up their intelligence. Mindset. I think we're all going to be growth mindset, but I could be wrong about that. That's very important for my students. And if I get someone with a fixed mindset, which is totally fine, I feel like it's my job to convince them to go into growth mindset or to want a growth mindset. So I'm going to say plus for me. Is that important for you guys in your business?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Lastly, love language. So when you think about your ideal student and they come to your website, what makes them feel like, I'm going to be cared for by this brand. I'm going to be cared for by this person. So for me, and this is one of the most important ones, most people never think about treating their customers or clients in terms of their love language ahead of time. Remember how we talked about in love languages, guessing before being asked or like giving before being asked? So I know that my students, because they're intrapersonal and interpersonal, they really, really want their struggles to be felt. They want to know that they're not alone. That's a huge one for them, and they typically do that through words or acts of service. So giveaways for me are huge. Giving away as many courses as possible, showing them that I want them to have it, I've found that makes people feel like, wow, like this is a brand that cares about me. So for me, it's acts of service and gifts. My ideal customers, they love both of those things. Okay, how about you guys? This is a much harder question. What love language, what makes them feel loved?
I would actually say acts of service would be awesome, especially if we're sticking with the mom idea. It's like they're so busy already, and like if you can just anything you can do to make it easier. And
so Maggie is talking about something that's called easy button. So if you have an ideal customer or a colleague who's incredibly stressed, one of the biggest gifts you can give them as a business and a brand is easy button service. So you don't have to do anything. I'm going to take care of it for you, all in one packages. I'm going to take notes on our call for you. You don't have to take notes in this section. I've done it for you. Here's a workbook. Here's the action steps. Here's the skills worksheet. Those are all ways that you make it easy button for them so they can learn from you without any extra work or any extra stress. Perfect. Yes. Love language.
So I think in terms of quality time, because the people that I work with are all extremely time pressured. And so they want to make sure that I'm not wasting their time. They want to get the most value from the time that they spend on my site. So they want to make sure that it's easy to navigate, and they have a very clear sense very quickly of what I'm all about and what it will be like to work together.
So that is both meeting their high conscientious needs and their quality time needs, right? So we're talking about designing website, designing products, designing materials. I also want to add something for your love language. When I think of new moms, they're in really high stress time. I would think that they would also want reassurance, like words of affirmation.
Yeah.
Like if I was a new mom and I was taking a course on photography, trying to learn something new while I'm also trying to be a new mom, I would want tons of reassurance.
Yeah.
Right? I would want to be like told, like, you're doing it, you're doing great, just trying it, just submitting your pictures. These pictures are going to last forever for you. It's worth it. I feel like I would really feed on that. Yeah, okay. Words. So that's how we put the matrix very quickly, right? We're doing this very quickly. This should take about 15 to 20 minutes, this exercise on your own when you're doing it yourself. Next, worries. What keeps your customer up at night? What keeps your ideal client worrying in the middle of the night? What do they think about? What makes them anxious? Because we want to tap into their pain point, which is what we're going to talk about in the sales and persuasion sections. So for me, I know that my ideal students, they worry a lot about their relationships. They worry a lot about their sense of intimacy with people. And they really want to nurture that. They really want to nourish that. So they worry a ton about relationships. We're getting like lower and lower on the board. My rating's gonna get worse and worse as we go, guys. Maggie, what do you think that they worry about? What keeps them up at night?
I actually get a lot of this feedback already, but it's just missing the moment, and also I just know that cameras are so overwhelming to people that don't understand them.
Yeah.
And that's like the number one thing. People are just like, I have a nice camera, I have no idea what to do with it.
Right, waste.
Yeah.
Right, wasting this either precious moments with your child or this amazing camera. Yeah, I love it. Kim.
It's usually, have I done enough? And also, did I miss anything?
So that sounds to me like total scarcity mentality. Is that right?
It's not, I don't think it's necessarily scarcity. With attorneys, there's such pressure to get everything precisely right and to make sure that you haven't missed anything. Control.
Yeah.
And then with people in tech, there's such pressure and such competition, and there's no time to spare, and people work these long hours because they're working as fast and as hard as they can with very limited resources. And so there's always this question of, is it okay for me to sleep now because I should be sending more email or working on this product?
Okay, so I love that Kim just corrected me. So she knows her ideal client so well that she's like, it's actually not scarcity mentality. It's not internal scarcity. It's external pressure that makes them to have those decisions. I want you to get really specific. Don't just be like, yeah, scarcity, sure. The fact that you know that person is going to help you design for them. So I love it. So enough and they miss something.
Right,
yeah.
Did they miss something?
Yeah, it's more external than it is internal. Okay, next. What are their goals? So when we talk about legacy is a really big one. I like to make it a little bit more digestible and talk about daily legs. So when they work with you, when they sign up to your course, or when they come and meet with you, what do you think are their daily legs that day?
I kind of want to teach them what they are because I don't think they know. So I want like small digestible tips and tricks because to them it's overwhelming. It's a monster, and I just want to take a piece and be like, here, it's something small.
Which
you
fits
can
into
try
easy
today.
button.
Yeah.
Right? If they don't even know what they want, if they're like, fix it, help me, do it for me, acts of service, you telling them exactly what their goals are is tapping into their need already. I like it. What do you think their legs are?
So my people in tech are such visionaries, and there's so much that they see that is not yet in the world that they're trying to bring into the world or to connect in the world. So they're incredibly visionary, and they're within that space of, can I make this real? Like, will this get off the ground and really work? So that's those guys. And then my attorneys are so passionate about their client, about their purpose, but they often get like caught in the grind of day to day.
Yeah.
And so for them, they're very achievement oriented.
Yeah.
They have very specific client goals, but they can lose sight of that, actually the big vision picture in the daily grind.
Are you bringing them focus?
It's focus, but it's also some peace and ease from the pressure.
Okay, that's it.
Right.
Peace and ease.
Yeah.
They come to you, and that's what you bring them. You're giving them relief.
Right, so that they don't burn out, because that's the danger for both groups is burnout and hitting that wall.
I love it. For me, with their goals, typically they want to know that they're going to invest time, money, and energy, and they're going to get it back. Either double it, triple it, quadruple it. So I design my benefits by saying, your investment is going to pay off in this way. If you put time into this course, you're going to see it in your romantic relationships, your business relationships, and your social relationships. That's why I'm constantly qualifying with you guys, is I want you to see that all this energy, you guys being here for 30 days, is worth it. It is going to pay off multiple fold. Right? So they want to see that their investment returns. I guess that's ROI is a really easy way to say it. All right, last one is, what is their legacy? This is the big one. So what is their personal mission? And this is hard to obviously generalize, but with your really ideal client, if you were to ask them, why are you here? What gets you up in the morning? What would they say? What would their answer be? And while you think about it, I will tell you what I think mine is. And what made me really excited when I was talking about personal mission statements with you guys is that my ideal student wants to make the world a better place. And almost every single one of you had some kind of version of that. So I was like so thrilled to have you guys here, because that's exactly what I want to help you guys do. So for me, it's impacting the world around them. That's why I'm constantly talking about leveling up and increasing your impact and influence, because I want that to tap into your personal mission. One of my headlines on my website is, be the most memorable person in the room and increase your impact and influence. That's because I'm hoping that it will ring true with their mission statement. It's like radar. I'm looking for what's similar to them and what's similar to me. So, legacy.
Maybe you can help me with it, but I think what I want to impart on them is just like more presence, more clarity in the moment.
Split it up, yep.
And it's kind of funny to say, but almost I want to help people take less photos, but take more impactful photos. Just
So quality.
Yeah.
So I think, and I was thinking about this beforehand when I was like preparing for going through your business with you, is I think that the people who are your ideal student, they are here to build deep relationships with their family. Right? Like for them, the reason that they bought a camera and want to take these amazing pictures is because they want to create an amazing family and be wonderful mothers and have a wonderful family. So I think that if you can tap into that need, that they're capturing something special, it's not just about the camera. It's not just about taking pictures. It's actually, helping them fulfill their legacy of building a supportive and loving family. Those are benefits that sell. Yeah, Lace.
It's also about the experience.
Yeah. Tell me more about that.
Well, what they're capturing is the experience of their family, who they are. Like, it's telling a story.
The narrative of their family.
Yeah. It's their
How
whole
good
world.
would that benefit be? If you're a new mom and you see a class that's like, I want to help you tell your family narrative, right? That would reach me as a mom to be like, yeah, I want to tell my kids' narrative. I want to capture my family narrative. Thank you for that. So family narrative experience. Kim, how can we help you, or do you have an idea?
What comes to mind is this idea of burning bright without burning out. So they want to be this very powerful, positive force in the world, whether it's through technology or through our legal system. And they want to do that in a way that doesn't diminish or destroy them along the way. And that's a real risk that a lot of people in both of those professions have seen and they face, both physically and with respect to their emotional and relationships.
So you have mentioned burnout a few times, and I haven't put that on the board yet, but clearly that is a really essential facet facet of your student. Where do you think that that fits? Is it a fear? Is it a need? Is it part of their legacy, like this burning out?
You know, it tends to be something that people are aware of but ignore until it kind of grabs them and drags them down into the ditch.
Yeah.
And then they're like, okay, now I need to seriously
Boiling frog
revisit.
syndrome?
Exactly.
Boiling frog syndrome. They come to
Exactly.
you when it's too late or they've already crashed.
Yeah.
So, the way that we use this, we are going to use this worksheet to design your brand, all of your offerings. We're going to use these words to design exactly what we need to speak to that ideal client. Thank you, ladies. I'm going to keep this up here because we're going to keep referring to it. High five, high five. Yes, yes. Yeah, a round of applause. That's, by the way, like very, very hard work because they had no idea what was coming. I had pre-thought about it, but poor them. I was like, hey, you want to come up on stage this segment and I'll help you out? Thank you. So when we use the ideal person worksheet, we are able to do human capital branding. Human capital branding is when you answer two different questions. How can you help them get what they want? How can you help them achieve their goals and their legacy? And the second question is, how can you help them solve their pain point? How can you get rid of their worries? The top two rows are getting the language right, the format, what your benefits are and how you say it. And here's what that helps you do. Designing your offerings, writing your headlines, blog, website, social media posts, resume, right? Cover letter, pitch email, and then interacting once you're with them to inspire. So what I want us to do, well, I want to give an example of how I do this. So I believe that my ideal customer is extremely high intelligence. They're above average intelligence, and they're high achievers. So here's how I change my product offerings for them. I always teach on a more advanced level. Instead of starting on beginner intermediate, I know that my customers, my ideal student, really demands more. So I always make sure I'm giving way more information. I'm leveling up because I know that I'll lose the high intelligence people if I don't teach on an advanced level. I also make sure I have to give dynamic examples. The basics will not work for them. Simple stuff, obvious examples, they're like, I want to level up. So I have to work to find dynamic examples that keep them engaged. And this is why I offer a lot of master classes, right? As opposed to just beginner body language, beginner people skills. I don't have those courses. Because my ideal customer, I want them actually to skip ahead. A lot of them have already thought about people skills or body language. They want the next level up, or they're fast learners, and they can speed up with me. High achievers. So what I make sure of is that whatever I do is easy to learn or do in their busy schedule. This is why I have video courses and not a lot of books. For the last 2 years, people have been like, are you going to write more books? And the reason that I don't is because my ideal customer is probably too busy for a book. And the examples are not dynamic enough for them. I actually can't go as deep. So I know that I have to create not only a video course, but I also have to create a 170-page workbook. Because they demand it, right? They're like, no, I want more. I need to have that because that's how I think, and it's high achievement. I also make sure, this is one of the reasons you'll notice on my blog, I almost always have a 1 to 5 minute video with a post. The reason for that is because I know my people are busy. They might not be able to read a blog post. So I write it out for them if they want to skim it or read it on the train or on their commute. But I also include a video because I know that they're busy and they might have to watch it while they're doing something else. So I fit to match their needs so that they fit to be my ideal customer, right? It's like a nice feedback loop. So videos and blog posts. So here's where I want to talk to you about how can you help your people be who they want to be. So I'm going to give you a couple seconds to think about it, and then I want to explore what about what you're doing can you change to fit into their ideal worksheet. So I actually really wanted to, who would I want to talk to about? Oh, Lee, I wanted to ask you about your ideal customer. Who is it? Explain them to me for Tiny Toast.
Originally, I was going to answer that question by saying I need to know who they are first. In the beginning, I've always thought about the demographics and their hobbies, but I've never really gone into the deep stuff.
Yeah.
And I think by doing this exercise really helped me try to like focus on who they actually are besides just their age and what they like to do.
Fabulous. So really knowing who they are, because that's going to help you market to them and speak to them. I would love to hear the answer to that question as you start to deep dive into it and think about it into your ideal worksheet. Yeah, because I was thinking about your business and I was like, who is her ideal person? So I want to know it. So your ideal wedding client, who is that?
They will be young graduates, undergrad, or ideally between 25 to 35. And salary-wise, they're anywhere probably between 70 to 80s. And
Demo, we got hobbies.
Hobbies, I haven't gone deep into that much.
Okay, so what do you think legacy, goal, and worry-wise? Is there something that you had an intuitive hit on before you dive deep into it that you think you could appeal to?
I haven't looked that much deep into it.
So I was thinking about your business, and I was thinking, so do you usually book with the bride, the groom, or an in-law or a parent?
Half of the time it's bride and groom, half of the time it's their parents, and I see them first time on the day.
Okay, so I thought this was maybe the case with you. If that is the case where you have multiple clients or potentials that you're working with, I want you to create an ideal customer worksheet for each and every one of them, right? So I actually have 4. I have this person who likes my video courses and blogs. I also have an ideal customer for speaking engagements. So I do corporate trainings, and I know exactly who my corporate client is as well. So I have a separate worksheet for them. So not only do I want you to deep dive into the bride-groom, but I also want you to think about if it's a parent that you're interacting with, because those are totally different offerings. The problem is if you get an email from a parent, I actually think you should send them a different brochure than you would send a bride. It's a different need. You know, similar benefits to the same person, but it's a different kind of brochure or PDF hitting different kinds of benefits. Who else has an ideal customer that they think that they want to help them, who they want to become? Yeah.
I think I have entrepreneurs who are, most of them are in their 30s and they are really, really busy and stressed and they don't want another thing on their plate.
Easy button.
But they just want the solutions and they just want it to work.
So you have they're busy, so they want easy button services. Are they high conscientious?
Most of them are.
Okay. So for you, the offerings, designing your offerings, knowing, okay, they want it to be easy, they want a checklist, they want to know that they can achieve it and be done with it. Yeah, designing offerings around that. So I want you to take this question, fill out your ideal worksheet for each of your ideal people. This could be ideal boss, ideal colleague, or all of your ideal clients or readers or students or fans. We are going to take that worksheet, we're going to be using it for the next 7 days. We're going to be using it when we talk about how to inspire. We're going to talk about science of leadership, and we're really going to use it in our sales and persuasion days. So tomorrow we're talking about how to inspire, and we have to have our ideal person top of mind to know how to inspire them. We're going to talk about increasing your influence, the 6 inspiration styles, and the art of infecting others. Then we're going to talk about the science of leadership, how to earn respect, how to build your tribe of course, ideal customers, and how to find your inner greatness. Maybe that's quiet, maybe that's loud, maybe that's reaching people online or in person, whatever that means to you. Here's your challenge today. Doing your ideal worksheets. And what are 3 things you can do right now to solve your customer's pain? Customer, client, boss. Can you change something on your website? Can you change your marketing materials? Is there an email you can send out? What can you do to solve their pain right now? And lastly, I want you to re-watch this before you're pitching a new client or trying for a new job. If you have a big meeting coming up and you kind of have an idea of who that interview is, I want you to just not think about their demo, their hobbies. Go a little deeper. What's their matrix like? Before you even walk into the meeting, get your brain, your prefrontal cortex into that intention task. What do they worry about? How can you solve it? What are their goals? What's their legacy? How can you meet those goals for them? We are ready for the most important thing we learned today. There's extra credit prompts in your workbook today. And I want to hear what the most important thing you learned today was. Hashtag PeopleSkills at Viva Edwards. Of course, the audience, I want to hear from you first. What clicked today? What was an aha moment? Oh, so many hands. I love it. Erica.
You know, I've heard of the ideal customer and I've gone through some things, but I think the matrix idea absolutely levels things up.
Yeah.
So you can better serve them, you know, one-on-one, but then also your website and the online things that you offer. I think that really hits home and is going to change things.
Yeah, I agree. I've also done ideal customer worksheets before, and they never really helped me that much. Like I was like kind of interesting, but it was still a black box for me. I was still like, I still don't know how to communicate with them. I still don't know how to write copy. But understanding how they work, how they think, helped me write copy where people were like, this is me. Like, I need to be here. This is my person. Right? It takes it from that level up. Awesome. Joshua, I saw you raise your hand.
Yeah, just something I haven't put time into understanding what exactly I want and seeing how you have your whole like ideal client set and seeing how Maggie, she's trying to progress into it and trying to do it to get into that. It's just so good to see exactly what I need to do to get my business running and creating the great, like my ultimate brand that I want to impact the right people.
Ultimate brand. I love it. And we're about to go into inspiration and leadership. Keep that ultimate brand up there. I like it. I saw two other hands. I think I didn't want to miss them that I heard on aha moments. Yes, Terry.
Just to follow on to what Erica was saying, like when I don't do the animation and stuff, I'm a user interface designer, and the first thing that we do is we have to create user profiles, and I always felt like that was a big guessing game. But the matrix thing really makes it so, so if there's any user interface designers watching this, I would totally encourage them to follow this process.
Thank you for bringing that up. So UI, UX design is like one of the hardest things you can do. How does a user, how should it be designed? How do they use your website? How do they use your product? This makes those decisions much easier. On apps as well, we have a lot of students who are graphic designers and programmers, and they use this to be able to tap into how would someone, what's the first thing that they want to see? Because it's usually different than what you want to see. Cool. Thank you for adding that. So thank you so much for doing this with me. I know we flew through those. I'm really excited to hear about how this helped you, what your aha moment was. Be sure to tell me on Twitter, #PeopleSkills.
And isn't there a special reward for somebody on Twitter for the...
Yes, thank you. Yes, so if you do this for all 30 days, we're going to be watching for the best answers. You're going to win my dating course and my entrepreneur course.
Well, I'm going to win that.
Yeah, you get it anyway. You get it anyway, just being here.
Now, don't forget to make sure that you have the workbook so you can follow along with this entire course. There's a lot of information here that Vanessa will not necessarily be covering while we're live. So you want to have this to follow along and go through the exercises yourself. That's available as a purchase upgrade. Thank you for joining us for this segment. We hope to see you back on the next.